You're watching Cape Media News, brought to you by Cape Media Center.
Tonight on Cape Media News, veterans protest proposed cuts to the VA.
Plus an interview with me, Suzanne Tennaire, about my new podcast, The Original Homegrown.
And later, a recap of this week's town meetings.
These stories and more are coming up next on Cape Media News.
Good evening and welcome to Cape Media News, your source for hyperlocal news that matters. I'm Jamie Horton.
And I'm Suzanne Tennaire. Last Friday, several local activist groups gathered with local veterans for a protest at the Hyannis Airport Rotary. Around 200 stood out to voice their opposition to proposed cuts to the VA and other government agencies. Cape and Islands Senator Julian Cyr came out as well to speak with the protesters about their concerns. Take a look.
I can tell you right now that I see no consideration at all, despite the rhetoric, for the welfare of veterans, particularly with regard to the cuts at the VA. I was a former government employee. I'm retired, and I'm a veteran of the Vietnam War. I grieve for the difficulties that the current administration has imposed upon all of my fellow vets who had the good fortune and opportunity to go into government service following their national service in the military.
The event today is definitely targeted to protecting our veterans. You know, the threats of the cuts coming from the government could have tragic results for our vets, and if anyone should be protected here, it's them.
I can tell you there's tons of people here. I'm so glad I was able to come over on my lunch break. I work remote, so it's fairly easy for me to take my lunch break, run over, protest here, and then go back and finish my job this afternoon. As you can see, a lot of the protesters here are retired, so they're able to come out. And some people have just taken the day off to do this.
Undivisible started as a group after Trump's first election to try to counter and slow down the damage that was being proposed. Most of it's done through legislative action, you know, staying in touch and with our representatives and legislators, but it's gonna take more than that. So we're just gonna be loud and vocal and visible and try to protect democracy.
So I'm Julian Cyr, and I'm the state senator for the Cape and Islands district. I'm hearing just deep concern from veterans who are wondering, am I gonna lose my benefits? From people who know federal workers who have been fired indiscriminately, a third of which are veterans. I'm hearing lots of questions about what the state can do, and I can assure you that in Massachusetts, we are doing everything we can to protect our residents, to follow the law, to hold this unlawful administration to account in lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. But what I told people is that, hey, look, you know, we need to be out here saying that this is not right. This is not normal. Let's remember, this is a lame duck president who has a one-seat majority in Congress, and they are purposely trying to push the envelope, right, to take more power than they truly have. And we need Cape Codders and Islanders and Americans across this country saying this isn't okay, this isn't right. You know, we are not doing right by the people who served this country, all in the name for padding the pockets of billionaires. So I'm really encouraged to see this incredible response, both from all the people who are here and so many Cape Codders who are honking their horns in enthusiasm as they go by.
Every one of us are extremely passionate about what we're saying. None of us are paid. In fact, we are putting in hours and hours and hours of our own time to be able to do this. So calling people, writing letters, doing postcards and protesting, it's all on our own time.
On April 19th, it's the 250th anniversary of the shot heard around the world. So it's a very appropriate time to reaffirm that we don't We don't work for kings.
Definitely come out to the next one. We've got plenty of rallies posted. Cape Cod Women for Change, Indivisible. There are 3 Indivisibles on the Cape, so you can check any one of them.
Just follow any of the Indivisible Facebook groups, sign up for their newsletters. If you want to find a local chapter, you can go to indivisible.org, which is the national organization, and they have a map, so you can put in your location. There's over 73 chapters, groups, just in Massachusetts. So
if protesting is not your thing, you can write postcards, you can make calls, you can do 5 calls, and it gives you the exact script and goes right through to your representative. So there's something for everyone to do.
when you ask about more, we'll grow. That's our goal, is we're just starting. This is going to be a big movement. It's nationwide. So yeah, this isn't it. It's just the beginning.
On Sunday at approximately 1 a.m., officers from the Barnstable Police Department were dispatched to the North Street parking lot near Washington Street in Hyannis for a report of a gunshot. The arriving officer located a male who had suffered a gunshot wound to the head and immediately began life-saving measures. Shortly after, Hyannis Fire and Rescue personnel treated and transported the 41-year-old Hyannis resident to Cape Cod Hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
Witnesses on scene informed officers of a pickup truck that had left the area, and officers located the vehicle and its operator not far away. The suspect, a 36-year-old Yarmouth resident, was taken into custody. Massachusetts State Police detectives responded to investigate, after which the suspect was charged with murder and is currently being held without bail at the Barnstable Police Station.
The Harwich Police Department is hosting a youth and family safety talk at Harwich Community Center. Tonight at 6 p.m., learn about kitchen, street, vehicle, and cyber safety. Learn how to prepare your child for emergencies and respond to unsafe situations. This free event is designed to ensure you and your children are equipped with the right knowledge and tools to stay safe in a variety of situations. Register by calling 508-430-7568.
Do you want to make an impact in your community and provide inspiration? The Barnstable County Sheriff's Office is seeking volunteer educators to teach general adult education courses. The Sheriff's Office is seeking those with previous classroom experience who can pass a background check. Many people who have committed crimes are seeking educational opportunities to jumpstart a new chapter in their lives. If you'd like to give back to your community and help those who are incarcerated by teaching general education courses, contact Barbara Clarkson at bclarkson@bsheriff.net.
The Cape Cod Rabies Task Force has announced upcoming local rabies clinics and encourages everyone to get their pets vaccinated. Domestic pets have been identified as the main cause behind rabies transmission to humans, and Massachusetts state law mandates that all dogs, cats, and ferrets be vaccinated. Dennis Center for Active Living will be hosting a rabies vaccine clinic on April 5th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., $10 per animal. Licensing for dogs will be available, and you can call ahead at 774-352-1400 for more detailed information.
Coming up after the break, meeting recaps and more. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Cape Media News.
This week, Harwich, Chatham, Dennis, and Yarmouth held select board meetings. So let's jump right into it.
In Chatham this week, the Select Board meeting began with strong community messaging as the board condemned recent hate-related graffiti incidents, emphasizing their zero-tolerance stance on symbols of hate within the town. In a significant move, the board announced a $1,000 reward aimed at obtaining information that would lead to the arrest of those responsible, urging the community to support this initiative.
That symbol is not one that any person of goodwill should want to be associated with or, indeed, ever to see displayed anywhere in 21st century America. Surely none of the nearly 500,000 Americans who gave their lives to defeat the Nazi killing machine would ever want to see that symbol here in America. nor do I think our Chatham community wants to see such a symbolic display of hatred here in our town.
Education was a primary focus as well, with extensive discussions surrounding infrastructure improvements for Monomoy Regional Middle School. The board approved a $11.5 million capital borrowing measure to fund urgent repairs, including the replacement of siding, trim, and windows severely affected by water damage. This approval followed detailed discussions, highlighting concerns over continued structural deterioration without immediate intervention. Additionally, the Monomoy Regional School District's operating budget was reviewed, revealing a $49.6 million budget for the year, marking a 6.73% increase. Discussions outlined challenges such as decreasing student enrollment and increased per-pupil costs. Concerns raised by residents include fairness and transparency regarding sewer infrastructure and grinder pump implementation, as well as zoning discussions affecting West Chatham, specifically pointing to the exclusion of affordable housing units from certain neighborhood boundaries. Citizens emphasized the importance of equitable treatment in all municipal planning decisions. In Dennis this week, the Select Board meeting highlighted several important local developments and legislative updates. A key discussion point was a presentation by the Disabilities Committee outlining significant improvements in accessibility on the town's website, making information easier to access for all residents. Updates were provided regarding affordable housing projects, including details on the lottery process for new affordable units. The Affordable Housing Trust provided an encouraging update about various projects and emphasized the community's proactive approach toward addressing local housing needs. State Senator Julian Cyr offered a comprehensive briefing on impactful state legislation that could significantly influence the town of Dennis. Key points included the introduction of the seasonal community designation aimed at improving housing availability and affordability, state-level tax relief measures, and an extensive update regarding the Bass River Bridge replacement project.
I can tell you, as someone who represents Nantucket, as someone who represents the Vineyard, as someone who lives in Provincetown, the housing challenges that we're seeing on the Mid-Cape are only going to get worse. On the islands, on the Outer Cape, we're literally grappling with how as a community are we going to subsidize housing, not just for people of low income, but basically any year-round working person can't afford to compete in our real estate market, right? Our real estate market is essentially, you're going to lose out to second, third, fourth home investor properties, right? So this is the conversation that's happening.
Senator Cyr acknowledged the importance of improved communication from Mass DOT to minimize disruption to the residents and local business. Licensing issues were also reviewed, with the board approving an entertainment license for the 7-day restaurant, allowing indoor and outdoor live music performance. Furthermore, despite some concerns raised about traffic safety and the high density of existing stores, the board approved a liquor license relocation for Paradise Liquors on Route 134. And lastly, the Community Preservation Committee provided detailed information about their recent allocations, including nearly $2.3 million dedicated to various projects aimed at historical preservation, recreational improvements, and affordable housing. And in Harwich this week, the Select Board meeting opened on a somber note, with the board expressing heartfelt condolences over the unexpected passing of Tom Cahir, the Executive Director of the Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority. Board members and the town administrator praised his long-standing contributions to improving regional transportation and noted his legacy of dedicated public service. Water quality emerged as a significant discussion topic, with numerous residents expressing strong support for investing in sewer infrastructure, highlighting the crucial importance of maintaining the quality of local drinking water. Consultant Mark Drainville presented a comprehensive update on the ongoing wastewater projects, stating that the town has already made significant strides toward compliance with stringent state nitrogen reduction regulations. Drainville also detailed potential expansions of these vital infrastructure projects, particularly targeting the west side of town. Community involvement and participation were emphasized throughout the meeting, the board encouraging citizens to engage actively in town governance, specifically regarding infrastructure projects that significantly impact community life. Additionally, the board discussed upcoming warrant articles and other important items for the annual town meeting. And in Yarmouth this week, the Select Board meeting featured a heartfelt retirement ceremony for Bill Bonetti, who dedicated over 27 years of service to the Department of Natural Resources. Board members and staff recognized his significant contributions, particularly emphasizing his leadership in environmental stewardship, wildlife conservation, and maintaining Yarmouth's natural beauty. Bonetti received commendation for his inclusive leadership style, which notably built a strong and capable team within the department.
You know, I've been here, as I thought about it, more than half my life now. So it's been a while, you know, and I think back to when over 27 years ago when Carl interviewed me, and I think back to the one question he said, well, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I said, I don't know. I just want to be like in a job that I'm happy, something that I enjoy doing, make enough to get by and be comfortable. And here it is 27 years later, and I achieved that. I've loved working for the Natural Resource Division, for the town of Yarmouth, and for this community. It's truly, truly been an honor.
In business matters, the board approved a comprehensive liquor license for the Uncommon for Cape Cod Hotel, ensuring it covered the entire property. This decision included thorough clarifications regarding management responsibilities and operational oversight to ensure adherence to town guidelines. An extensive briefing from the Cape Cod Commission provided insights into regional initiatives addressing critical areas, including affordable housing, freshwater management strategies, transportation safety through Vision Zero initiatives, climate resiliency planning for low-lying roads, and overarching economic development strategies. The Commission emphasized ongoing cooperation and alignment of these regional plans with local community goals. Discussions also highlighted community concerns about balancing economic development with preserving the unique charm and character of Yarmouth. And that's it for this week. For Cape Media News, I'm Mitch Sock.
Coming up after the break, sports and more.
Welcome back to Cape Media News.
Suzanne, you recently sat down with our news director to talk about your new podcast.
I did. It's called The Original Homegrown, and it's a great opportunity for local musicians to showcase their talent. And we will have the full interview on Facebook next week. But I think it's time for a little sneak peek. Yeah. Hi, Mitch. Thanks for having me here today. This is exciting.
Yeah. Thank you for being a news anchor. You've been fantastic. I've gotten great reviews from people.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I love it. It's like the highlight of my week,
I understand you are starting to produce a podcast here at the Media Center.
Yes. Well, I've been involved in different projects with original bands. Back in 1987, when I started in radio, because I've been on and off in radio since then, I did start a local music show called Homegrown, and that was with Al McKay, great guy that owned that station. And so we focused a 2-hour show on having artists come in on a Sunday night, and sometimes they'd bring their instruments. We did it on the radio. And through the years, I did that, and then when I left that format, I kind of missed doing, kind of giving something back to musicians, as I'm a musician myself too. So I feel their pain that they don't have that many outlets, other than, of course, on Spotify and Apple, and if you put their music on those platforms. I find that the podcast is a great way to go. And since here at Cape Media Center you have a beautiful podcast studio, it's so state of the art. How could I not take advantage of that? But we have a lot of artists that want to be part of it, in all genres too. It's not just rock and roll. It's going to be folk. It's going to be even classical music. I've had people with classical background that are interested. I want to keep the show not just because when I was on the radio doing the show, I kind of had to keep it more kind of rock or into the format of the radio station I was at. So this is going to open up a lot of doors for a lot of various genres of music. So I want to bring it all in, all of it. So, and there's some young bands here on the Cape, and I'm talking high school bands that are writing original music. That I think, well, why not give them a break?
Yeah. I played in bands in high school.
Oh, did you?
I would have loved the opportunity to be. Podcasts weren't quite a thing back then, but it would have been great to have that kind of exposure in the community, because it's tough when you're a local band just trying to get your name out there.
Absolutely. So, hey, we're hope it's really gonna blow up into something big. Maybe get some sponsors down the road, and so I've got big dreams for it, big hopes for it. So.
After nearly 2 decades underground, periodical cicadas are about to emerge once again on the Cape. Only appearing once every 17 years, this species is different from the annual cicadas we hear every summer. Measuring about 1.5 inches long, they have red-orange eyes and black bodies. They emerge in large numbers, the highest concentration being in the mid and upper Cape areas. They'll be the most active and noisy in June and July. While cicadas don't eat plants, they do lay their eggs inside of branches, which can cause damage to younger trees.
While mature trees can handle the cicada invasion, young trees are at risk. Setting up netting by May can help protect your trees. Avoid planting new trees until after the cicadas are gone. And don't bother using pesticides. They're not very effective against these bugs. And don't worry, cicadas don't bite or sting, and they're not poisonous. While they can be very noisy and bothersome, they help the environment by providing bountiful food for wildlife, naturally pruning trees, and enriching the soil when they decompose. If you have any questions or concerns, you can contact the Cape Cod Cooperative Extension.
Barnstable School Superintendent Sarah Ahern has announced that the school district was awarded a $25,000 grant from the 1-8 Foundation for the Project Lead the Way Gateway program. This grant will help better prepare students at Barnstable Intermediate School for future school and career success. The award will be distributed over 3 years to provide applied learning programming in computer science, engineering, and biomedical science. The PLTW curriculum provides hands-on learning, empowering students to apply their knowledge to solve real-world problems. The grant will support professional development for teachers, the purchase of educational materials, and the acquisition of equipment for PLTW courses.
Cape Cod-based nonprofit Calmer Choice has announced its closure after 15 years of service to schools. Calmer Choice was founded in 2010 by Fiona Jensen amidst the fallout of the Cape Cod opioid crisis. After witnessing her daughter and peers struggle to cope with a number of teen overdoses and suicides, Jensen founded Calmer Choice to provide mindful education, training, and mentorship to tens of thousands in our community. Like many nonprofits, Calmer Choice has faced challenges in securing resources as funding pathways narrow. And with current uncertainty in public education, they decided their current operational model was unsustainable.
In their press release earlier this week, Calmer Choice Executive Director Sarah Mannion said that, "We have carefully explored several options, and rather than continuing in an unsustainable way, we have chosen to respond in a way that models the mindfulness practice we teach. This means acknowledging the reality of the present moments, being honest with ourselves, and making a decision that demonstrates the most kindness and compassion toward our staff, students, partners, and generous supporters." Calmer Choice will retain its 501c3 status and take time to explore how its mission might continue in a different form in the future. They'll continue their school and community programs through the end of the school year.
The Boy Scouts of America Yarmouth-Port Troop is holding their second annual Egg My Yard fundraiser. Wake up on Easter morning to your front yard filled with eggs, pre-stuffed with toys, stickers, candy, and more. Denison Yarmouth residents can pay $30 for 24 eggs, $40 for 36 eggs, or $50 for 48 eggs, all expertly hidden in accordance to your children's ages. Sign up before April 6th by using their QR code.
And lastly this evening, to Ryan Downs with a recap of this week in sports.
Welcome back to the Cape Media News Sports segment. I'm your host and local sports guy, Ryan Downs. It is officially spring, but we still have one last story on winter sports. So let's get started with our weekly recap. The Cape and Islands High School All-Star Basketball game took place this past Sunday at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. The game featured top players from the area, including 6 1,000-point scorers. The girls' game started at 1:15, followed by the boys' game at 3:30. Players from our teams were on the Lower Cape teams, wearing red jerseys in both games. Girls from our schools on the Lower Cape team were freshman Michaela Bishop and sophomore Ashley Cox from Barnstable, seniors Savannah Azoff, Sienna Laus, and 1,000-point scorer Jaylene Pierce from DY, and seniors Kylie Mon and JoJo Reddy from Monomoy. The Lower Cape girls went on to erase a 14-point deficit in the fourth quarter to claim a 79-72 victory over Upper Cape. And the charge was led by our very own Savannah Azoff. Azoff was named player of the game, finishing with 21 points, 12 of which came in the fourth quarter push. Monomoy's JoJo Reddy also played well and finished with 14 points. And the guys from our schools that made up the Lower Cape team were seniors Kawan Deza, Caden Forts, and Gabe Pichardo from Barnstable, junior Josh Jenkins and senior Tyler Hamilton from DY, and seniors from Monomoy Jackson Rocco and Jackson Morneau. The Lower Cape boys were not as successful as the girls and ended up losing with a final score of 96-88. We also got an announcement for Monomoy Athletics. There is a comedy fundraiser for the Monomoy Booster Club taking place tonight at the Pelham House Resort in Dennisport. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and the event starts at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are $40 per person, and it's an adults-only event. Guests can look forward to appetizers, a cash bar, raffles, and a 50-50 drawing. Several local businesses and individuals are sponsoring the event to support Monomoy Athletics. Information on this event can be found on the Monomoy Athletics Instagram page, where they have provided a link to purchase tickets. And that's it for this week's Sports Update. Back to you, Jamie and Suzanne.
Thanks, Ryan. It's officially springtime, which means it's time for spring cleaning. Tomorrow from 9 to 11 a.m., help pick up litter on beaches, roadsides, and parking lots in West Barnstable.
The spring cleaning group will meet behind the West Barnstable Fire Station at 9 a.m. If possible, bring work gloves and small plastic shopping bags.
And thank you for joining us this evening. If you have a story you'd like to see covered, send us an email at newstip@capemedia.org.
Stay up to date on all the local happenings by following us on Facebook and YouTube.
And make sure to tune in every Friday at 5:30 for more hyperlocal news that matters on Channel 26, Apple TV, Roku, and Fire TV. For Cape Media News, I'm Jamie Horton.
And I'm Suzanne Tenaire.